infinitely better studied and figured than the 1984 jail. That was done very quickly, down and dirty, and several things happened in that. One is prior to that time you had never incarcerated for misdemeanors, and that's one of the reasons why this jail became filled up so quickly. Is there was a radical change in misdemeanor punishments starting in 1985. I would support shelling out a 5th floor. I think that is sound business planning. It gives you the ability to grow. But as I think all of you know, my posture is that everything we've done, we're still addressing the symptoms and not the root problem. As to why this county has such a significantly higher jail population in terms of ratio to population than the state of Texas. We're 70% higher. As the movie Field of Dreams, build it and they will come. If you make this, if you go ahead and finish this up, I'll guarantee you in 15 years or 10 years, it'll be filled up and crying for more. There's got to be a cap on this, because right now the overcrowding is to a certain extent limiting the trash prisoners that we really don't need in the jail, like the misdemeanor people. I don't lose sleep because someone who's charged with driving while license suspended is not in jail, okay? We have to come in and where you have the experts come in, the planners that we've paid good money for, and they've made their projections, and to say that we want to build a jail now that would reach the 2027 figures is, I think, was pointed out. One, I don't know if you could sell it to the taxpayers. But I would support shelling out a 5th floor, but don't finish it, put a cap on it. Save it for future expansion, because my concern is build it and they'll come. If you build the beds, we'll fill them up in 5 to 7 years, and we'll have to be going through this process again. Keep a cap on it and act responsible.
Well, one of the reasons why I'm against shelling it out and for finishing it out is because if it's shelled out, it can't be utilized. If it's finished out, we can utilize it for other counties to send their people here instead of us sending our people there. And I think that would be a good thing that we could do. And not so much other counties, more federal prisoners, because obviously there's more of a revenue stream for the county, just to put it quite bluntly, with federal prisoners than there is with the prisoners from other counties that are in or whatever. So that's one of the reasons why I'm kind of leaning toward finishing it out than shelling it out, because it's not going to sit there empty if it's shelled out. And I agree, Randy. I know 20 years from now or so, it may very well be getting close to it because, again, of our population. I'm not arguing with you about it, and as far as all the misdemeanor folks in there and all that sort of thing, well, I think if they manage to get themselves in that jailhouse, they probably belong there.
Let me interrupt.
That's the way I feel about it.
Let me interrupt. We've got Kurt Pardee on the phone. Kurt, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay. We have some questions about what you and I discussed last night.
Okay.
We talked about 96 beds, completing 96 beds, and that was, my understanding, that was a portion of the space that would have already been completed of the low-risk facility. Is that correct?
The additional 96 beds was the space that we had shelled out in the jail tower.
Oh, that's in the jail tower. Okay.
Yes, we had, if you remember, one of those floors, we had shown 192 beds in a 4-pod layout, and then on the end of that floor we had an unfinished space. So those 96 beds I'm talking about would be filling in that space.
Okay, thank you. I misunderstood. So,
Sure.
I've got another question for him. The actual footprint that you had to finish out in the future for the low-risk facility, what is that footprint?
That was the third level of that low risk layout. We were showing 2 unfinished units there.
And about the square footage of that is what I'm interested in.
The approximate square footage?
Yes, very approximate.
It's about 6,500 square feet per, no, it's about 7,000 square feet per 48 bed.
Okay? Thank you.
Yes.
Do we have additional questions for Mr. Hardy?
How many beds would be on a finish out of the minimum? How many beds would be in a finish out of the minimum security area? How many beds, not square footage, how many beds?
Under the proposal we had shown, it was 480 beds.
Okay, I'm talking about just that one more floor there.
And then for the final, what we were showing to add the 2 additional units would add 96 beds to the 480. It would be 576.
Okay.
So there were 96 beds you could finish out in the low-risk facility and an additional 96 beds you could finish out in the tower. Is that correct?
The low-risk facility, we didn't shell out that additional space, so we would need to add money to shell out that or to add the 96 beds to the low-risk facility. We have the ability to do that with that layout, but we did not include the cost for the shell in that cost we gave you last week.
And I misunderstood.
Right.
Is there any way you can get us an estimate on
Sure. If I were to take, what I would do is I'd take the 7,500 square, or was it 7,000 square foot number I just gave you, and for that facility, for the low risk facility, I think we'd probably go with $120 a square foot times 7,500 times 2. So it'd be 15,000 times square feet times the $120. That would be the shell.
1.8 million.
that would be to shell it out?
Yes.
And any idea how much it would cost to finish it out?
It's much less for there because it's low risk and it's dormitory setting. And I think we were averaging about $200 a square foot, so an additional $80 a square foot for that 15,000 square feet. So 80 times the 15,000.
Okay. All right, do we have additional questions?
How much?
1.2 million, so 3 million overall.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Oh, they were just, they did the calculations.
Well, good, okay.
So that's a little more.
Okay, do we have additional questions? Sounds like we're in the airport, Kurt.
I'm sorry, I apologize for the background noise.
That's quite all right.
Okay.
Do we have additional questions for Kurt before he?
I just wondered, what would the cost of the ones on the second floor to finish, the one that's already shelled?
That cost, the cost you gave me last night, Kurt, to finish out the 96 beds in the tower, that would be medium risk beds, was $2.52 million to finish that out. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. That gives it 96 in the tower.
Additional
And then to
questions?
shell out the tower is 6.37, is that right?
6.375 to shell out the 5th floor of the tower.
Yes.
Okay. And 3 million to finish out the minimum security, is that right? Give or take a little bit. That's 96 beds also, correct?
That's right. Anyone have additional questions for Kurt? Okay. Thank you, Kurt. I appreciate your time.
I'm sorry I couldn't be there. If y'all have any more questions, feel free to give me a call back.
We'll do that. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
So it's about $3 million.
So $3 million for the
Okay.
low risk, additional 96 low risk beds.
Okay.
2.52 million to finish out the space in the tower
The 96.
for 96 additional beds.
And 6.